Hello there, and welcome to the AstroSleep channel. I'm so glad you found your way here. Tonight, we are going to step away from the current of the day and find a quiet place on the riverbank. We are here to explore the gentle, often misunderstood art of letting go. So often, we approach sleep as if it were a task to be completed, a destination we must march toward with purpose and effort. We try to silence our thoughts, we try to force stillness, and we try to command our own rest. But tonight, we will discover that true rest is not an act of doing, but a profound and ancient act of undoing. We are going to drift through the comforting science and the soft philosophy of release. We will look at how your biology is designed to unclench, how your mind is built to wander into the dark, and how the universe itself operates on a principle of effortless movement. There is a deep peace in understanding that you do not need to fight for your sleep. You only need to align yourself with the natural rhythms that have guided living things into slumber for millions of years. We will see that letting go of a thought is as natural as a leaf falling from a tree in autumn, a process that happens not because of force, but because the time is simply right to descend. If these calm, curious explorations help you unwind, I invite you to like or subscribe. It helps other sleepy souls find their way here too. And now, you have nothing to do but rest. There are no problems to solve in this space, no questions that demand an immediate answer, and no future that needs your attention. Let your mind relax, your breathing slow, and your body grow light as if gravity itself has softened. Imagine that with every breath out, you are untying a small knot within your shoulders, your jaw, and your chest. The day is over, and the night has arrived to carry you. Let us begin. Deep within the quiet architecture of your body, there is a biological system designed specifically for this moment of surrender. We often believe that relaxing is something we must actively do, a task we must perform. But the truth of your biology is that relaxation is your natural state when the need for action has passed. Your nervous system is composed of two great tides, one that rises to meet the challenges of the day, and one that recedes to cradle you in the safety of the night. This second tide is known as the parasympathetic nervous system, but we might think of it simply as the body's ancient signal that the journey is over. When this system takes the lead, it does not force you to sleep. Rather, it gently unties the knots of alertness that have held you upright since morning. It sends a cascading message to your heart to slow its rhythm, to your lungs to deepen their breath, and to your eyes to soften their focus. It is the biological equivalent of a heavy velvet curtain being drawn across a bright window, dimming the world outside so that the world inside can begin to glow with a soft, warm light. In this state, your body understands that there are no tigers to run from, no mountains to climb, and no problems that cannot wait for the rising sun. Deep within the intricate wiring of your being, there is a specific pathway that guides this transition, a long and wandering nerve that acts as a bridge between your brain and your body. Science calls it the vagus nerve, a name that comes from the Latin word for wanderer, describing how it meanders from the base of your mind down through your neck, wrapping around your heart and settling into your abdomen. This wandering nerve is the guardian of your calm. When you exhale slowly, allowing the air to leave your lungs without rush, you are physically stimulating this nerve, sending a direct chemical letter to your brain that says you are safe. It is a profound realization that you can communicate with your own nervous system through the simple, silent act of breathing out. Every long exhalation is a physical confirmation that the danger has passed, a biological lullaby that you sing to your own cells. As the vagus nerve activates, it acts like a gentle hand placed upon a spinning wheel, slowly adding friction until the wheel of your thoughts turns slower and finally comes to a restful pause. We can visualize this internal signal as a stream of cool, clear water, flowing down from the mind to the heart, washing away the dust of the day's anxiety, leaving only a clean and quiet stillness in its wake. Deep within the fibers of your muscles, there is another layer of release waiting to happen, a phenomenon known to biologists as the cessation of motor unit activity. All day long, your muscles hold a certain amount of tension, a readiness to move, to speak, to hold, and to carry. We become so accustomed to this holding that we often forget what it feels like to truly let go. But as the parasympathetic tide rises, the signals that keep your muscles taut begin to fade. This is not a weakness, it is a return to gravity. When you allow your shoulders to drop, when you unclench your hands, and when you soften the muscles of your face, you are allowing gravity to hold you so that you no longer have to hold yourself. It is a physical act of trust. You are trusting the bed beneath you to support your full weight. You are trusting the earth beneath the floor to remain steady. As the electrical signals to your muscles quiet down, the sensation is one of melting, a slow and pleasant dissolution of boundaries. We might imagine a block of ice, rigid and defined, sitting in the warm sun. Slowly, it loses its hard edges, turning into water that spreads out, effortlessly conforming to the shape of the ground, flowing without resistance. Your body is finding that same fluidity, sinking deeper into the mattress, heavy and warm and completely at rest. Deep within the chemistry of your brain, a different kind of tide has been rising since the moment you woke up this morning. Throughout the day, as you think and move and live, your brain produces a molecule called adenosine. It is a byproduct of being awake, a chemical hourglass that slowly fills as the hours pass. This is not a sign of exhaustion in a negative sense, but a natural accumulating pressure that acts as a gentle invitation to sleep. Science tells us that this pressure builds gradually, creating a feeling of heaviness, a comfortable weight that pulls the eyelids down. It is the body's way of ensuring that rest is inevitable. We often fight this feeling, mistaking it for fatigue that must be overcome. But tonight we can welcome it as a friend. This chemical pressure is the physical manifestation of a day well spent. It is the universe's way of saying that you have done enough. As the levels of adenosine peak, they unlock the gates for sleep to enter. Imagine this sensation as a warm, heavy blanket being pulled up to your chin, or perhaps like the feeling of sinking into a bath of warm water, where the heat permeates every pore and the water supports every limb. The pressure is safe. The weight is comforting. It is the feeling of coming home to a place where you are allowed to simply stop. Deep within the ancient coding of your DNA, there is a memory of the night that predates modern worries. A memory of times when darkness meant safety and silence meant peace. Our ancestors learned that when the sun went down and the fire was lit, the work of survival was done for the day. This evolutionary rhythm is still alive within you. Your body temperature naturally drops in the evening, mirroring the cooling of the earth outside. Your production of cortisol, the hormone of alertness, fades away as the sun disappears, replaced by melatonin, the hormone of darkness. This is a synchronized dance between your biology and the rotation of the planet. You are not separate from the world. You are a piece of it, turning as it turns, cooling as it cools. When you surrender to this rhythm, you are aligning yourself with the orbit of the Earth itself. There is a profound relief in realizing that you do not have to manage your sleep. You only have to step out of the way and let the ancient machinery of your body take over. It knows exactly what to do. It has guided billions of ancestors into dreams before you, and it will guide you tonight. We can see this alignment as a small boat finally catching the current of a wide, slow river. There is no longer a need to row, for the current is strong and steady, and it knows the way to the ocean of sleep. Deep within the silence of your resting mind, even the concept of letting go begins to dissolve, for even the idea of letting go implies an action. In this state of biological coherence, where the heart slows and the muscles melt and the chemistry of the brain shifts toward darkness, there is no doing left. There is only being. The biological reality of sleep is that it is a series of gates, closing one by one behind you, protecting you from the noise of the waking world. The gate of vision closes as your eyelids fall. The gate of hearing softens as the auditory processing centers dampen their sensitivity. The gate of movement locks gently to keep you safe while you dream. You are retreating into a sanctuary that your own body builds for you every single night. This sanctuary is impenetrable by the worries of tomorrow. It is a fortress of rest. And as you lie here, feeling the heaviness of your limbs and the slow, rhythmic tide of your breath, you can feel a deep sense of gratitude for this vessel that carries you. Your body is your oldest friend, your most loyal protector, and right now its only wish is for you to drift deeper and deeper into the healing embrace of the dark. As the body settles into this deep biological silence and the muscles learn the language of gravity, we find that the mind begins to follow the body's lead. There is a gentle synchronization that happens here, where the slowing of the heart invites a slowing of the thoughts. We enter now into the realm of the mind, often visualized by psychologists and philosophers alike as a vast flowing river. This is the stream of consciousness, the endless meandering current of ideas, memories, and images that has been moving through you all day. For many hours, you have been swimming in this river, fighting its currents, steering around rocks and trying to navigate the waters of your daily life. It is natural to feel tired from such swimming, but tonight, the invitation is not to stop the river from flowing, for a river must flow, but rather to step out of the water. Imagine yourself climbing softly onto the grassy bank, sitting down on the cool, soft earth, and simply watching the water move by. You are no longer the swimmer. You are the observer. You are safe on the shore, dry and warm, watching the stream of your own thoughts drift harmlessly toward a distant, misty ocean. In this state of observation, we encounter a profound psychological truth known as cognitive diffusion. This is the scientific understanding that you are not your thoughts, but rather the silent space in which thoughts occur. Thoughts are merely events, fleeting electrical pulses that spark and fade like fireflies in the summer night. When we are awake and busy, we tend to grab onto these fireflies, examining them, worrying about them, and believing they are permanent. But here, in the quiet of the night, we can see them for what they truly are. They are temporary visitors. They are like leaves floating on the surface of our river. Some leaves are large and dark, representing worries or plans. Some are small and bright, representing memories or hopes. And yet, the water treats them all the same. The current carries the dark leaf just as easily as the bright one. From your place on the bank, you do not need to reach into the water to fish them out. You do not need to analyze why the leaf is shaped that way or where it came from. You simply watch it drift into your field of vision, float past you, and then slowly dissolve around the bend, carried away by a force that is not your own. There is an immense freedom in realizing the impermanence of all mental states. Neuroscientists tell us that a thought, biologically speaking, is a temporary connection, a brief firing of neurons that requires energy to maintain. If we do not feed it with our attention, if we do not grasp it with our anxiety, it naturally runs out of energy. It fades. This is the law of the mind's entropy. Just as a ripple on a lake will eventually settle back into glass-like stillness if no new stone is thrown, your mind seeks its own level of calm. We often believe we must clear our minds to sleep, as if we must build a dam to stop the water. But building a dam is hard work. It requires heavy lifting and constant vigilance. The sleepy approach is far gentler. We let the river run. We let the noise be there, but we let it be background noise, like the sound of rain on a roof or the distant hum of the city. It is there, but it does not touch you. You are the house, warm and dry. The thoughts are simply the weather outside, passing through the sky, changing from moment to moment, never staying the same for long. As you sit by this metaphorical river, you might notice that the flow begins to slow down as the night deepens. The water, which might have been rushing and choppy during the daylight hours, now turns glassy and smooth, reflecting the starlight above. This is the mind entering a state of low-frequency oscillation. The waves of activity are lengthening, stretching out into long, lazy loops. In this quietude, we can practice the ancient art of labeling, a soft mental whisper that neutralizes the power of distraction. If a thought about tomorrow drifts by, you do not engage with it. You simply whisper to yourself, planning, and let it float away. If a memory of the past surfaces, you gently acknowledge it with the word remembering and watch it recede downstream. This act of naming is like touching a soap bubble with a feather. It acknowledges existence without adding weight. It reminds us that these are just categories of thought, generic and impersonal, drifting through the vast open awareness that is your true self. You remain the silent observer, the bedrock on the bank, ancient and unmoving, while the water of the mind does what water always does. It flows, it changes, and it moves away. This separation between the thinker and the thought creates a vast inner spaciousness. It is similar to looking up at the night sky. The clouds may cover the moon, they may be thick and heavy, but they are not the sky. The sky is always there, behind the clouds, vast and untouched by the storm. Your awareness is that sky. Even if a stormy thought rolls through, it cannot harm the sky. It cannot scratch the darkness or disturb the stars. The sky simply allows the cloud to be there, knowing that the wind of time will eventually blow it apart. Tonight, you are identifying with the sky, not the clouds. You are identifying with the riverbed, not the water. This shift in perspective brings a heavy, comforting blanket of peace. You realize that you do not need to solve the clouds. You do not need to fix the river. You are permitted to simply exist, vast and silent, holding space for whatever arises and whatever falls away. As the river of consciousness flows toward the sea of sleep, the boundaries between the thoughts begin to blur. The crisp, clear images of the day start to lose their edges, softening like a watercolor painting left out in the rain. This is the beautiful disintegration of logic. The mind, no longer required to make sense of the world, begins to play. The leaves on the water might turn into little boats. The river might turn into a ribbon of silk. This is a sign that you are drifting further from the shore of wakefulness. You are no longer just watching the river. You are beginning to lower yourself into a small, comfortable boat that waits for you at the water's edge. This boat has no oars, for you have no destination that requires effort. You lie back in this vessel, looking up at the canopy of imaginary trees overhead, and you allow the current to take you. The river knows where it is going. It flows towards the deep, restorative ocean of unconsciousness. You can feel the gentle rocking motion, the sway of the water beneath you, lulling you, rocking you, whispering that it is safe to close your eyes and trust the flow. And even now, if a thought tries to climb into the boat with you, you treat it with the same gentle indifference. It is just a passenger, a shadow, a whisper. It has no weight. The boat is large enough to carry it without tipping. You are so heavy, so relaxed, so deeply sunk into the cushions of your vessel that nothing can disturb your balance. The current widens. The banks of the river move further away until they are just dark, comforting shapes in the distance. The sound of the water becomes a rhythmic hush, a white noise that wraps around you like a cocoon. You are moving away from the land of doing and drifting into the land of being. The river of consciousness is no longer a torrent of demands. It has become a lazy, subterranean stream, flowing through caverns of crystal and silence, moving slowly, so slowly that it feels almost like stillness. In this drift, you are free. You are unburdened. You are simply a point of awareness floating on a tide of infinite peace. As you continue to drift down this quiet, metaphorical river, you may begin to realize that the most profound peace comes not from steering the boat, but from putting down the oars. We move now into a deeper understanding of rest, guided by a philosophy that has whispered through the centuries, known to the ancient sages as Wu Wei. This is the art of non-doing, or more accurately, the art of effortless action. In our modern lives, we are taught that to achieve something, we must strive, we must push, and we must exert force against the world. But sleep is different. Sleep is the one destination in life that cannot be reached by walking toward it. It can only be reached by stopping. There is a gentle wisdom in realizing that the harder you try to capture sleep, the faster it runs away, like a shy animal startled by the sound of footsteps. Tonight, we practice the opposite of striving. We practice the elegant, fluid art of simply allowing things to be exactly as they are. There is a quiet paradox that governs the realm of slumber, a rule that defies our waking logic. Psychologists call this paradoxical intention, but we can think of it simply as the law of reverse effort. When you lie in bed and think, "I must sleep now," you are inadvertently creating a tension, a command that your brain tries to obey but cannot force. This command creates a subtle alertness, a monitoring system that checks to see if you are asleep yet, and by checking, it keeps you awake. The ancient art of non-doing invites you to drop this command completely. It invites you to be indifferent to the outcome. You are not here to sleep. You are simply here to rest. If sleep comes, it comes like a guest who enters when the house is quiet. If it waits, you simply enjoy the softness of the mattress and the warmth of the blankets. By removing the pressure to succeed at sleeping, you remove the primary obstacle to it. You are unclenching the fist of your will, allowing the hand of your mind to open and receive whatever the night brings. In this state of non-doing, we can look to the natural world for guidance, for nature never rushes, and yet everything gets accomplished. Consider the growth of a great oak tree. It does not strain to grow. It does not tremble with the effort of pushing out a new leaf. It simply allows the water and the sunlight to move through it, expanding in silence, obeying a rhythm that requires no conscious thought. Consider the tides of the ocean. The water does not struggle to rise and fall. It surrenders entirely to the pull of the moon. This is the essence of Wu Wei. It is acting without forcing. Tonight, you are like the tree. You are like the tide. You do not need to do sleep. Sleep is a biological tide that rises within you. Your only task is to be the shore that receives the wave. You are aligning yourself with the grain of the universe, moving with the current rather than swimming against it. There is a tremendous relief in this, a shedding of the heavy burden of being the one in control. For these few hours, you are not the captain of the ship. You are the passenger, and the ocean is vast and capable of carrying you. There is a serene beauty in the concept of yielding, a word that often implies weakness in conflict, but implies supreme strength in rest. To yield is to soften. When a branch is rigid, it breaks in the wind. When it is flexible, it bends and survives. Your mind, too, finds its strength in flexibility tonight. If a sound disturbs you, you do not fight it. You yield to it, letting it pass through your awareness like wind through the leaves. If a worry arises, you do not erect a wall to stop it. You yield, allowing it to flow around you and move on. This lack of resistance creates a silence that is deeper than the absence of noise. It is the silence of peace. It is the feeling of floating on your back in a calm sea, where you do not need to hold your head up because the salt water supports you. You surrender your weight to the water. You surrender your need to know where you are drifting. You trust that the water is holding you, that the sky is watching over you, and that there is absolutely nothing you need to do to remain afloat. In the deep philosophy of the night, we discover that the self, the part of you that plans, worries, and organizes, is the only thing standing between you and deep rest. Imagine that you are slowly dimming the lights in the control room of your mind. You are flipping the switches down, one by one. The switch for planning clicks off. The switch for remembering clicks off. The switch for analyzing clicks off. You are leaving the control room empty, walking out the door and leaving the complex machinery of your existence to run on its own quiet, automatic pilot. The heart knows how to beat without your instruction. The lungs know how to breathe without your command. The cells know how to repair themselves without your supervision. By practicing non-doing, you are showing a profound trust in your own biology. You are stepping out of the way so that the deeper, wiser parts of your system can go to work. As you sink deeper into this state of effortless existence, you might feel a sensation of expansion, as if the boundaries of your body are becoming less defined. This is the dissolving of the ego, the softening of the sharp lines that separate you from the rest of the world. When we stop trying to control our environment, we begin to merge with it. You become part of the stillness of the room. You become part of the darkness. You become part of the silence. It is a reunion with the fundamental state of the universe, which is largely empty, largely silent, and largely at rest. The stars do not strive to shine. They simply are. The vacuum of space does not strive to be empty. It simply is. You are entering that state of isness. You are just a breathing presence in the dark, existing without agenda, existing without goal. This is the ultimate freedom. It is the freedom of a stone resting at the bottom of a clear lake, perfectly heavy, perfectly still, untouched by the currents on the surface, resting in the cool, dark clarity of the deep. And even now, if the urge to do something arises, if the habit of effort tries to return, you can meet it with a gentle internal whisper, "Not now." There is time for effort when the sun returns. But this territory, this kingdom of the night, belongs to the passive, the receptive, and the yielding. You are reclaiming your right to be inactive. You are reclaiming the ancient power of dormancy. Just as the seed lies dormant in the winter earth, gathering strength in the dark, doing nothing but waiting, you are gathering your own strength through this profound stillness. The earth holds the seed. The night holds you. And in this holding, in this vast, effortless embrace, you find that the struggle has ended. The river has widened into a lake. The boat has stopped moving. You are simply here, floating in the center of a great, benevolent silence, waiting for nothing, needing nothing, doing nothing. As we drift further from the shores of logic and reason, we begin to enter a mysterious and beautiful borderland, known to science as the hypnagogic state. This is the twilight zone of consciousness, the magical gray area that exists between the clarity of being awake and the oblivion of deep sleep. It is a place where the rigid laws of the physical world no longer apply, and where the mind, finally free from the duty of making sense, begins to paint with colors that do not exist in the daylight. You are walking through the gates of a soft, misty garden where the path forward is not a straight line, but a meandering trail that fades into the shadows. Here, the brain begins to shift its electrical rhythm from the rapid, busy beta waves of the day, down through the relaxed alpha waves, and finally settles into the slow, rhythmic undulation of theta waves. This slowing down is physical and palpable. It feels as if the internal clock that governs your speed is unwinding, ticking slower and slower, until the seconds stretch out into minutes, and the minutes dissolve into a timeless, suspension-like state. In this deep twilight, you may begin to notice the arrival of micro-dreams or fleeting sensory images that bloom spontaneously behind your closed eyelids. Scientists call these hypnagogic hallucinations. You might see a flash of geometric patterns that slowly rotate and change color, shifting from deep indigo to soft violet. You might see a landscape that you have never visited, perhaps a quiet beach at dusk, or a forest covered in snow, appearing with startling clarity for just a moment before dissolving back into the dark. These images are not thoughts that you are thinking. They are simply sights that you are seeing. They require no effort to create and no effort to sustain. They are the sparks of a cooling engine, the gentle flickering of a candle as it burns down. Watching them is like sitting in a dark theater, as the projector begins to play random beautiful clips from a film that has no plot, a film that is designed only to soothe the eyes and quiet the spirit. There is a profound comfort in the randomness of this state. During the day, your mind is a machine of logic, constantly trying to connect cause and effect, constantly trying to predict what comes next. But in the hypnagogic state, the part of the brain responsible for linear logic begins to go offline. You might see a face that turns into a flower, or a house that floats on a cloud, and in this state, it does not feel strange. It feels perfectly natural. This acceptance of the surreal is a sign that you are deeply relaxing. You are shedding the heavy coat of rationality that you wear to navigate the world. You are allowing the connections between things to loosen. It is a relief to be in a place where things do not have to make sense. You do not have to understand the flower. You do not have to explain the cloud. You only have to witness them, letting them drift by like leaves on a wind that is blowing you gently toward the deeper valleys of sleep. As this transition deepens, you may feel a change in your perception of your own body, a phenomenon often described as the dissolution of boundaries. In the waking world, you know exactly where your hands are, where your feet end, and where the bed begins. But as the theta waves take over, these clear definitions soften. You might feel as though your hands are floating a few inches above your body, or that your legs have become incredibly long and light. You might feel as if you are slowly spinning in a vast, dark space, or gently rocking in a hammock that is suspended from the stars. These sensations are the result of the brain's sensory processing centers turning down their volume. They are signals that you are safe to let go of your physical form. You are becoming pure awareness, a point of consciousness floating in a warm, dark sea. Gravity no longer pulls you down. It holds you in a compassionate embrace, evenly distributing your weight until you feel weightless, until you feel as though you could drift through the mattress and float softly into the center of the earth. Sometimes, in this quiet corridor between worlds, you might hear the faint echoes of sound, a fragment of a voice, a note of music, or the rustling of trees. These are auditory drifts, the mind's way of clearing out the echoes of the day. They are not disturbances. They are the sounds of the library closing for the night. Imagine walking through a great, ancient library where the librarians are whispering, "Hush," as they extinguish the lamps one by one. The sounds are distant and muffled, as if coming from another room or from across a wide, foggy lake. They do not demand your attention. They are merely textures in the silence, deepening the feeling of solitude and safety. You are alone in the best possible way, protected by the walls of sleep, insulated from the noise of the outside world by layers of velvet darkness. This twilight state is also the realm where creative solutions often hide, not because we look for them, but because we stop looking. History is filled with stories of thinkers and artists who found their answers in this drift, in this moment where the rigid guard of the conscious mind falls asleep, allowing the shy, quiet wisdom of the subconscious to step forward. But tonight, we are not looking for answers. We are looking only for peace. If a brilliant idea floats by, let it float. If a solution appears, let it dissolve. Tonight, the only goal is the journey itself. We are simply enjoying the scenery of the mind as it shuts down. We are watching the lights of the city go out one by one from a high hill, watching the busy world turn into a quiet grid of darkness and slumber. As you linger in this soft, grey space, you are practicing the ultimate act of trust. You are trusting that you can let go of your grip on reality and that you will be safe. You are trusting that you can lose yourself and that you will be found again in the morning. This is the bridge that every human being must cross to reach the land of dreams. It is a bridge made of mist and shadow, and you are crossing it now. The far side of the bridge is hidden in the dark, but you do not need to see it to know it is there. You only need to take the next step and the next, moving deeper into the fog, feeling the cool, damp air on your skin, feeling the silence wrap around you like a heavy wool cloak. The bridge is steady. The path is sure. You are moving from the world of the known into the world of the unknown. And the unknown is soft and kind and waiting to receive you. There is a specific kind of heaviness that settles into the chest and limbs during this phase. A heaviness that is distinct from simple tiredness. It is the heaviness of stone, of earth, of ancient things that do not move. It is a grounding sensation. While your mind floats in the airy realms of theta, your body anchors itself to the bed with a profound stability. You are the mountain, and your thoughts are the clouds passing around the peak. The mountain does not chase the clouds. The mountain does not fear the clouds. It sits in its immense, stony silence, enduring and still. Feel that mountain-like quality in your bones right now. Feel the stillness in your legs, the stability in your spine, the heavy quiet in your hands. You are immovable. You are solid. And from this place of solidity, you can watch the last wisps of the twilight fade, as the sky of your mind turns from grey to a deep. Having anchored ourselves in the stability of the earth and drifted through the soft mists of the twilight mind, we now allow our awareness to expand even further, moving beyond the boundaries of the room, beyond the atmosphere, and into the velvet embrace of the cosmos. There is a final, profound perspective on letting go that can only be found among the stars. When we look up, or when we close our eyes and visualize the night sky, we are not just looking at distant objects, we are looking into the deepest reservoir of silence that exists. The universe is the ultimate container of peace. It is vast enough to hold everything that has ever happened and everything that ever will happen, and yet it remains fundamentally quiet, unperturbed, and deeply at rest. Tonight, we let our thoughts float upward, lighter than air, rising until they reach that place where the air itself fades away, leaving only the pure, clear vacuum of space. In the vastness of this cosmic ocean, here on Earth, silence is rare. There is always the hum of electricity, the rustle of wind, or the beating of our own hearts. But in the deep reaches of space, in the vacuum between the stars, silence is the absolute law. Sound requires a medium to travel, air molecules to vibrate, but space is a void so pure that sound cannot exist. Imagine floating in this environment. It is a silence so profound that it feels like a heavy, comforting blanket wrapped around your consciousness. It is not an empty silence, but a full one, a presence rather than an absence. It is a silence that has lasted for billions of years, untouched by the noise of history or the chaos of planets. By bringing your mind to this place, you are tuning your internal frequency to match this cosmic quiet. You are allowing the noise of your personal life to be swallowed by the infinite hush of the galaxy. In the vastness of this starry expanse, we also find a new relationship with time. The clocks we watch during the day, with their ticking seconds and rushing hours, have no meaning here. The universe operates on a scale of time so slow that it appears to be stillness. We look at a star and see a point of steady light, but that star is living a life that spans billions of years. It is born, it shines, and it fades in a rhythm so elongated that a human lifetime is less than a blink of an eye. Our own galaxy, the Milky Way, is rotating, spinning around its mysterious center, but it takes 230 million years to complete just one single turn. This is the galactic year. This is a pace of life that is almost impossible to comprehend, and yet it is the true pace of nature. When you align yourself with this rhythm, your own hurry begins to dissolve. The urgency to do or fix things immediately fades away. You realize that there is no rush in the grand scheme of things. You can afford to rest. You can afford to sleep. The universe is taking its time, and so can you. In the vastness of orbital space, we discover the physical sensation of true release, which is the absence of gravity. All day long, gravity pulls on you, and your muscles work tirelessly to resist it, to hold you up, to keep you aligned. But in the deep drift of space, gravity is not a force that pulls you down. It is a force that guides you into an orbit. Imagine the sensation of weightlessness. It is the feeling of your body finally putting down its burden. There is no up, and there is no down. There is no pressure on your back, no tension in your neck. You are simply floating, suspended in the ether, held by nothing, and yet held by everything. This is the ultimate form of letting go. You are not just relaxing your muscles. You are releasing the very concept of weight. You are a drift of stardust, floating in the great dark river of the sky, moving effortlessly with the celestial current. In the vastness of the dark, we see that the universe is not empty, but filled with a soft, invisible structure. Astronomers tell us about dark matter, the unseen scaffolding that holds the galaxies together. We cannot see it, and we cannot touch it, but we know it is there because of its gentle gravitational embrace. It is a comforting thought to realize that the universe is held together by something invisible. It suggests that you do not need to hold everything together yourself. There is a greater force at work, a silent background field that maintains the structure of reality. You can relinquish your role as the manager of your world. You can stop trying to hold all the pieces in place. The invisible forces are doing the work for you. The planets stay in their lanes without your supervision. The sun rises without your permission. You are free to resign from your duties and simply exist as a passenger in this magnificent, self-sustaining vessel. In the vastness of the distance, we gain a perspective that shrinks our worries down to their true size. From the vantage point of the moon, the Earth is a small, blue marble, fragile and silent. From the vantage point of Saturn, it is a tiny point of light. And from the vantage point of deep space, it disappears entirely. This is not to say that your life does not matter, but rather to liberate you from the heaviness of your problems. Seen against the backdrop of infinity, the things that kept you awake, the unfinished tasks, the awkward conversations, the future uncertainties, become microscopic. They float away like dust motes in a sunbeam. They cannot survive in the vacuum. What remains is only you, the pure, observing consciousness, witnessing the glory of existence without the burden of attachment. You are free to float above it all, detached and serene, watching the cosmic ballet unfold in slow motion. In the vastness of the stellar nurseries, deep within the nebulas that glow with soft pinks and violets, stars are being born in total silence. These are the wombs of the galaxy, giant clouds of gas and dust where gravity gently pulls material together to create light. It is a reminder that the universe is constantly renewing itself, constantly beginning again. Sleep is your nebula. Sleep is your stellar nursery. It is the dark, quiet cloud where you go to be renewed. You enter the darkness tired and worn, and through the mysterious alchemy of rest, you emerge bright and new. You are part of this cycle of renewal. It is written into your atoms, the very same atoms that were forged in the hearts of ancient stars. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself as a human being who needs to rest. You are made of stardust, and tonight, the stardust is returning to the quiet from which it came. In the vastness of the final drift, we understand that the darkness of space is not cold or scary. It is the color of sleep. It is the shade of the eyelids closing. It is the hue of the deep ocean. Darkness is the canvas upon which the light of dreams can be painted. As you lie in your bed surrounded by the shadows of your room, you are connected to the shadows between the galaxies. You are wrapped in the same comforting cloak that wraps the earth. The silence of the room is the silence of space. The stillness of your body is the stillness of a star in a stable orbit. You have arrived at the destination. There is nowhere else to go. The rocket engines have been turned off. The navigation systems have been powered down. You are simply drifting, banking slowly into the curve of the night, carried by the inertia of peace, moving deeper and deeper into the beautiful, endless, silent void. Thank you for drifting with me tonight through the quiet landscapes of the mind and the vast, silent architecture of the universe. We have traveled far, moving from the gentle, microscopic tides of your own biology to the immense, slow-turning orbits of the stars. We have explored the art of release, learning that true rest comes not from force, but from the simple, courageous act of letting go. We have sat by the river of consciousness and watched the thoughts float by without touching them. We have surrendered to the ancient wisdom of non-doing, trusting that the world will continue to turn safely while we sleep. And we have floated in the deep, velvet vacuum of space, realizing that our worries are weightless in the grand embrace of the cosmos. It has been a privilege to guide you into this sanctuary of peace, a place where you are reminded that you are enough, just as you are, resting in the quiet dark. If these calm, curious explorations help you unwind, I invite you to like or subscribe. It helps other sleepy souls find their way here too. And now, let all of that drift away. Let the images of the neurons and the stars dissolve into the soft background of your mind. Let the concepts of time and space fade until there is only this moment, right here in the comfort of your bed. You do not need to remember anything we have spoken of tonight. The knowledge has been received, and now it can settle like dust motes on a quiet shelf. Your mind has done enough work for today. It is time to lower the final curtain. Feel the mattress rising up to support you, holding you securely so that you can completely release your hold on yourself. The day is done. The past is a memory, and the future is a dream that has not yet been dreamt. There is only the rhythmic rise and fall of your chest, the heavy warmth of your blankets, and the safe, inviting darkness behind your eyes. You are safe. You are loved by the universe that made you. Give yourself permission to sink down, past the twilight, past the dreams, into the deepest, most restorative silence of all. Close your eyes, rest, and dream of a quiet, radiant sea of stars. Good night.